Hey everybody, I'm Sean.
And I'm Kieran.
Welcome to another episode of Angling Spiders. Welcome back everybody. On today's episode, we are once again at home. We had actually hoped to be fishing today, but admittedly we're fair weather fishermen and we don't feel like being out in the kayaks when the weather is horrible. It is cold right now, and it's actually supposed to be snowing. The forecast was for snow, but it hasn't quite started yet. But it is going to start soon, and is supposed to be snowing tomorrow as well. So another weekend where we didn't get out, and for that reason, we decided that we would look back at some of our old footage and reflect on some of the firsts that we had when we started doing this channel. Partly the reason for that is we've had so many new subscribers over the last little while. I think, almost 300 new subscribers since the beginning of this year, that we figured there's probably quite a few of you out there that haven't actually seen some of our older videos. So we thought we'd bring up some of the old stuff and just show you how far we've come.
Yeah, so let's hop right into the video.
All right, let's get to it. Okay, so this is the first one. The first fish we ever caught on Angling Spiders.
Oh, yes. I remember this. I think that was at Dalmead.
Yeah.
We'd actually been fishing for quite a while before I caught that one, so
It's a nice fish.
nice one, yeah.
And we didn't have a way to measure it back then. Okay, so here's the first hook set. There we go. That's the first time I ever caught a fish on Angling Spiders, so that's from my perspective.
Also at Dalmead, I believe.
Also at Dalmead, although the other one was at the north end and this is at the south end.
Yeah.
This is back, we weren't very sophisticated, so we had the bobber fishing on, we had walleye rigs, and this just shows a lot about how far we've come. Walleye rigs tend to tangle around the fish, and they get in the way of everything, and just not the best way, so we kind of abandoned that. But there's the fish grips for the first time. Not the biggest fish for me compared to yours. Yours was much nicer.
Still the first one though, so
Yeah.
not horrible.
All right, next. Oh, this is the first underwater release. This is
Yes.
actually that fish.
The first of many.
First of many. Okay, so this is the first use of what has become one of our go-tos, the Mako perch swim bait.
Mm-hmm. Once again, the first of very many uses.
Yeah, no kidding. So, for those of you that aren't familiar with the Mako lures, this is the lures that we pick up from Dollarama. And on our trips in the first season, we went to Dollarama and found them, and we found this one in particular that had a perch pattern on it. It's a soft swim bait, so they do get beaten up a little bit by the pike, so we've gone through quite a few of them in the years.
Picked up many packages of those.
But man, they are super effective. We have caught so many fish on that swim bait. So yeah, there it is, and there's a picture of the packages. We've picked up different colors over the years, and different sizes actually too, including the perch one comes in a bigger size.
We still found that the perch color works the best though, I think.
Yes, agreed. Okay, so this one is what? This is the biggest walleye so far. So we're mainly pike fishermen, but as is common, we pick up other species every once in a while, and this just happened to be one of the walleye we picked up. This was in Saskatchewan. This is actually also our first road trip, and this was caught on the Mako perch swim bait as well. So another nice fish caught on the Mako, and this was really, really nice walleye, fought really well. And it actually happens that we also kept this fish. We don't keep very many fish, but because we were at a location where you could keep fish, this one was kept and eaten. Mm-hmm. And interesting tidbit on this one, while I was catching this fish, you were...
I was stuck very badly in the weeds.
and having a bit of a fit back there,
Yes.
actually.
I think in a previous shot you could see the anchor full of weeds over there. So.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so not a monster walleye by any stretch. There's much bigger ones out there, but it's the biggest one we've caught so far, at least since we've been doing videos. Yeah, it was a good one.
Pretty chunky, as we say in the clip.
Chunky. All right, so that was the biggest walleye so far. Oh, and this is
the smallest fish so far. This one I actually caught. I think I snagged it on the side. It didn't even bite the hook, but yeah, I snagged it as I was trolling, I think. No, maybe not.
I think you might have been casting there.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I snagged it, and it was incredibly small for a pike, so it was pretty interesting to catch.
Okay. Oh, and then this was out in British Columbia, actually in the Shuswaps, and this was new for both of us.
Yes, it's the northern pike minnow. Yeah, that was a new species for both of us on that trip. Actually, we were using some new hooks that we'd never used before as well, so that was interesting. They didn't put much of a fight, but it was still cool to catch a new species.
Oh yeah, the first badly hooked fish. So I put this in there just as a reminder that no matter how often you go fishing, every once in a while you're gonna hook a fish pretty badly. This is a pike that I caught at Eagle Lake, and you'll see in a minute here that it's actually hooked in the mouth, but I think when I first caught it, it had hooked it through the gills, and so when it comes in, it's bleeding pretty heavy. And this happens. If you're fishing, every once in a while you're going to get a fish caught in the gills. Not much you can do about it. It's unfortunate, and whether or not this fish could have survived afterwards, I'm not sure. One of the challenges here is that this is a catch and release lake, so even if you foul hook one or you beat it up a little bit, you still have to release them, and so you don't know how these fish are going to do. This one we did keep around for a while, and it did stop bleeding, and then this is the release. It actually took off pretty vigorously, so hopefully that fish was okay, but you never know.
Something never seen before. So this is at Badger Lake, I believe. And yeah, you can see there the massive cut in the side of the fish there. Still not entirely sure what happened to that one, but we've had some good debates in the comments as to what could have caused that. We think maybe it was a boat propeller, but we're not too sure about that. So.
Yeah, I have no idea. Never seen anything like that. We've had people say it was a lamprey, but we don't have lampreys here in Alberta, so not sure. Something took a good chunk out of it anyway. Oh yeah, and here's the other angling spider, the one that we don't see very often. This is Paige and her first fish on Angling Spiders.
First fish on a homemade lure. So this is you actually catching it on a 3D printed lure. This was for Brian Q1 Kwan, I think, the giveaway.
Yes.
And he asked for the shiner color. So you painted those up.
Yeah, I made 2 of them just to see if they would work. So I went out to Crawling Valley actually and wanted to see if I could catch a fish before I sent it out as a contest giveaway. And I think this was maybe my 4th or 5th cast. Picked up this pike. It was actually a really nice pike, and showed that the 3D printed lures could work really well. And after this, we actually made some more. We made 3 more of these, and have used them quite often since. And in fact, have used them even already this year. So worked really good. That crankbait design is pretty awesome. And so if you got a 3D printer, you can pick up the file on Thingiverse and make your own lure. Yeah, this was actually a pretty good day because it led almost immediately to this, which was the biggest fish that I've ever caught while we've been doing Angling Spiders. This was me switching up the tackle a little bit. I went over and put on another brand new lure, the Flame 5 of Diamonds. This is a spoon that was given to us by Len Thompson, so a big shout out to Len Thompson. And the Flame 5 of Diamonds was new that year, and it hadn't even come out yet, so they gave us a couple when we went on the Len Thompson tour, which was fantastic. And so I had been tossing it, and I think I had maybe tossed it out again 2 or 3 times, and I hooked into this really nice fish. When I first caught it, I thought it was a decent fish. It was fighting really well, but as it got close to the kayak, I knew it was a decent sized one, and it also had a very interesting growth on its back, so it was a little bit different from that perspective. But yeah, it felt really good to get this one in, and then that was followed up by me trying to get a self picture with this thing. I think when I measured it up, it was 82 or 83 centimeters, so decent size. And then here we go, we got it on the selfie cam for the first time, which was also a 3D printed adaptation for the
Yes.
kayak.
Yeah, we 3D printed that to go in the rod holders, I think.
Yes.
The front rod
Yeah.
holders, and it worked pretty well as far as you can see. So
And then this happened.
yes, the biggest fish on the channel and my personal best. This was at Eleanor Lake, during our tournament actually, which
Yeah.
I happened to have won. Yeah, so this was a pretty nice fish, but it also was pretty interesting because you can see the jaw there was actually pretty messed up, and it was healed, so it had been like that for a while, and it was split right down the middle. So
Yeah, that's the
most-
strangest thing I'd ever seen
Yeah.
on a fish. It was unreal, but didn't take away from the fish at all. Look at that. Look at the grin right there. How big was that thing?
I think we measured it up, and it hit like 93 centimeters, I think, which is 36 inches, I think we said after, so pretty big fish.
I think it was bigger than that. You know what? I actually think, thinking about it now, that it might have been 98 centimeters, because I thought it was 37 and a half inches.
Yeah, maybe.
We have to go back and look
Yeah.
at the video, but it was a nice fish nonetheless. It was close to 40 inches. Wasn't quite as heavy as obviously a healthy pike would have been because it had that jaw issue, so it was
Yeah.
pretty skinny, but still a nice fish nonetheless. And eventually we got the release. And then we took up ice fishing. And we kind of went back to our old ways, which is unfortunate because we went back to fishing with walleye rigs, which I mentioned at the very beginning. They're horrible because they tangle the fish. So this was even worse. We had 4 holes in the tent. We had 4 walleye rigs running, and the fish, when we caught them, were tangling up in all the lines. You can see the knot right there. This was a lesson for us never to use those things again. Despite the fact that we caught some fish, it was pretty horrible.
Yeah. So this, holding that up here, it wasn't the biggest fish, but usually when we catch fish ice fishing, we find that they're actually pretty chunky. So
Yeah, this was a pretty healthy fish. And,
Not
I
too
remember
big,
your
but-
hands were freezing.
yeah.
We weren't used to that. And then we got the quick release, which we've also gotten better at. We hold them there a little bit now just to make sure that they're okay before we release them. So we've learned quite a bit over time here. And then we got, again, the other angling spider. This is Paige's first pike on the ice. This was interesting because, like I mentioned in that video, she doesn't live with us. She's on her own. And so we had some COVID protocols in place. But another successful day. And here we had switched over to predator rigs, which are way more effective and don't get tangled up with the fish. So there she is with her first pike on the ice. And she's got the mask on there because of the COVID. We were trying to protect ourselves. We took some flack over this a little bit. People wondering why we were wearing masks outside, but it's because we were coming in and out of the tent together. So, and then that gets us to this April, which was the first time I've ever been on a kayak in April. Right after the ice is off. This is literally, there was ice on Pine Coulee just a week before this. And of course, this is one of our recent videos. And yeah, that was an interesting trip to be out there in the cold. The water temperature about 4 degrees, so you really don't want to fall in. And picked up a pretty nice pike. And once again, this one is on the 3D printed lure. So we just chucked this one in there just as a reminder that there's a lot more to come. There's a lot more fishing to come this year. Looking forward to getting out there back on the water and seeing what else we can learn. It's been a pretty great journey so far, and you know, we've changed a lot even in just the 2 years, and I'm sure there's a lot more we can learn from all of you out there. So if you got anything that you think we could do to improve, please feel free to leave your comments.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody, so that's it for today's episode. But before we close this one out, Kieran's got a little bit of news about another giveaway.
Yeah, so we're going to be giving away another one of our Angling Spider Len Thompson lures, and if you haven't seen it yet, here it is.
Yeah, this is actually the last one of our Len Thompson lures in the first batch that we bought. We do have another order coming, so we'll be giving more of these away in the future.
Yeah, so if you want a chance to enter that giveaway, in the comment section down below, I haven't had a chance to go fishing yet in the kayaks, so leave your guess of what you think the weight of my first pike is going to be without going over, and that will give you a chance to enter the giveaway. Make sure to put hashtag giveaway just so we know that you want to enter, but that's how that's going to work. So this is the end of the video, and remember, if you like the video, smash that like button, hit subscribe. Until next time, good fishing.